Alright, hello everyone, it's time for a new video. So, recently it was the 30th anniversary of the ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act, and I was thinking about all the different things that I went through growing up. So, being born in the, early mid 80s, growing up in that time, I can remember going to kindergarten and being, even just when the teachers pointed out that they noticed that I was having vision problems, and then going on from there and learning that I was going to have to learn how to use a cane, I was going to have to learn how to read braille, and that I even cuz and just having to go to like different classes, like, so maybe for a couple hours of the day I would be at the school, but then I would have to take a whole nother bus and go to a whole different school and be separated from all the other kids and go learn, braille and how to get around, all that kind of um, early education to blind skills of blindness. um, and then and this was when my family was living in Texas at the time, so it was pretty different there, and from moving there to Michigan, and then experiencing the school system here. uh, that was a whole different thing together, because I still, even then, I didn't really have a huge choice of being mainstream, because it was still at least another year till the ADA was passed. And I remember, um, going to special blind school, and because of the amount of vision I had, they didn't want to teach me Braille, which was the weirdest thing ever, because I had started learning Braille before I had moved. And then finally, being mainstreamed and being allowed to go to the other schools, the same schools that my sisters were going to, that was a huge thing. I was really happy about that. I was glad I didn't have to go to some kind of special school, and that the teachers came to me and I got to learn, and and just how big of a difference it was for me, and how that changed things for me, and being socialized and being able to interact with other kids. And I can say that even to this day, that had a pretty huge impact, because I definitely have met um, other kids over the years, other people just growing up and going to the different kinds of camps, or uh, other meeting other VI blind kids and people, and learning that either maybe they hadn't had the opportunities, or had the same, uh, that they didn't exactly get the same, they weren't socialized the same way I was, in a lot of ways. So, you definitely start to notice some of that, uh, though it has been becoming less and less, of course, over the years. Being that everybody's mainstreamed, and even doing research about the School for the Blind in Flint, and how long that's just been sitting there abandoned. And I remember going to the School for the Blind, for a few different camps and things, and remember being at that campus and staying there over the summer a few different times. But I just think of all of how amazing we have it, like how good things are these days. Not that it's perfect, and that there's definitely still a lot of things socially, economically, and also with education that we still have to improve on. Though considering where things were, say, early on, uh, things have definitely improved as far as access to technology and books and braille. I remember, I think even in my college years now, that how quick it is to get a book in braille. Where I remember being in high school, you would have to wait months for a book in braille at times, and I had to carry a braille writer, and basically I would have to do all my work in braille and wait for it to be translated and get it to teachers, and just it was a long process of doing things. Where now I can do all my work electronically. I can, if I need something in braille, it can be done within the span of a week, or a couple weeks, depending on what it is I'm requesting or needing. A book still takes a little bit longer, but nowhere near the amount of time it once did. So things have definitely improved, but like I said, I feel that there's still a lot more to be done as far as jobs, as far as attitudes. I still feel to this day that blind people are still stuck in boxes to a lot of times. A lot of the agencies and people, they're, if you have certain things that you want to do with your life that isn't a part of, say, the normal job, like if you're into certain kinds of arts, or even there's so many branches of work that's very hard to get into, and that you can prove that there's a job for you in the field you want to work in, and have a lot of facts, and and you can prove that there's a job market and you can make money, and you can still get turned down, and still get no support for what you want to do with your life, which you still just got to keep fighting. You still got to keep believing in yourself, and keep try not to get discouraged, as easy it is to be discouraged, with not getting support with what you want to do. Especially I've noticed with people in the fields of arts and engineering, people who want to be actors, people who want, even myself as wanting to be an audio engineer, you still don't get support with that, even though it's a very prominent job. Lots of people in the music industry make a living, working with musicians, going out on tours, all that kind of stuff. It's hard to get support if you want to do something like that, or even work in something like radio, journalism, that kind of stuff. It's still hard to get support for doing those kinds of jobs, or even just having a path or a mentor to get into that field. I mean, there definitely are some people who do the work, but still, and also with engineering, there aren't. I mean, there definitely are some blind engineers and computer specialists and people that can, assemble computers, but I still feel that we still need some work in that field as well. I know in the past year I looked into trying to achieve some certificates with computer technical service, and even that was like few and far between as far as what was available. So, but there's so many amazing things about having a disability in this day and age, and the things that you have access, and the barriers that used to be there. Even as something as simple as going to a movie with friends. Nowadays, I can go to a movie with my friends and know that there's going to be audio description for whatever movie we pick. It's not like back in the days where you only had maybe one movie and it was at this certain theater, and you had to get there, and it was maybe like on a weekday, and so you maybe had to find somebody that wasn't working and find a way to either to get to the theater. And it was a huge fiasco trying to find a movie theater that offered audio description Because there's just something about going to see a movie in the actual theater, uh, you know, yeah. So yeah, definitely, it's still an amazing age uh, to be alive, and to some of the barriers that have been definitely eliminated, but definitely still a lot of work to be done. So there we go. There are my thoughts and feelings and a little bit of stories behind my experience with the ADA growing up, and my feelings and views on where we're at, where we need to go, and hopes for the future. I am very hopeful for the future. I feel that even right now, with how crazy things are with the whole pandemic, and the fact that it's hard to even harder than it was, being having to deal with social distancing and wearing the masks, and just a ton of this, you know, just right now. It's just, I don't know. I still feel very hopeful for the future, as far as the amount of access and attitudes towards those of us who are living with disabilities. So I think I'm gonna end it there and come back for another video. Uh, See what I talk about next time. Maybe more music, guitar. We'll see.